What is going on, guys? It is your boy Cali Mac on the track, no whack, bring it back, and we are back with Strawhat Sitdown, episode 118. Woohoo! Yippee!
Yes, sir.
Damn, let's go.
Yes, sir.
I was a little more energy would have been cool.
Sorry, it was late.
No, it's all good.
Late.
I'm here with the gang, not as usual. We got a couple absences today. Our boy Mr. G is on a camping trip, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's home now, but he's just vibing. He's just
handling his business. You know, we gonna hold it down for him. We do still have Strawhat in the building. What's going on, my brother?
Was good, yeah, was good. This chapter was at least interesting to me. So
Sure.
you know,
me too, man.
I like that caveat because some people on this podcast who may or may not be speaking right now do not feel the same way. So I appreciate that caveat right there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But either way, we're gonna get into it because regardless of how you feel, I feel like there's some good stuff to talk about. Regardless, so can't wait to talk about it. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Last but not least, that why it's in the building, running through man with you today. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir, man. The 3-man team makes the dream work. I'm shout out to Mysta, of course. He's missing today, but you know, he's a legend. I have a few things for him, like throughout the chapter. I'll say his thoughts on each of the developments if he had one for me.
Okay.
He just texted them to me this morning, so you know he's gonna be not here, but you know, as always, the Will of D lives on, so I got him. And yeah, man. Speaking of the Will of D, I'm hyped for this fucking chapter. I don't know what this guy's talking about. Let's get it.
Let me just preface this by saying I did enjoy the chapter. I did enjoy the chapter before people started jumping down my throat. Let
me not go too ham.
You feel me?
Yeah,
but you know, some people are saying that this is one of the best chapters of the arc, and
like I said, man, I'll be in the middle, man. I can come down from that opinion, and I'm already down from it. Like you said, I remember how fucking insane some of the
it's only because this arc was so crazy. Like it's been so much, man.
Yeah, I just forget that like part of it is like the Shank stuff, the fucking dark stuff. Yeah. Like I said, I can be talked down from that mountain, but we're gonna have you come up a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we'll see. Let's just go right into it, right? Chapter review, new chapter. We got to break it down. Let's get into it. Chapter 1120, Atlas. New cover story. We got Denjiro has captured the children from the last cover story that were throwing stuff at Yamato, and has them in a net, hanging off his back. I guess he's gonna punish them or whatever. Yamato kind of looks like she's like, hold up, wait, you don't need to do that. So I think somebody brought this up the last cover story, how this would be a chance to step into Odin's footsteps, and maybe start building her own regime, her own group. I forgot what his group is called.
Her like scabbards, like
the
her
scabbards.
own.
Yeah. So this could be a good, and even if not that, this would definitely be a good opportunity to showcase how her demeanor is different from Kaido's, how she's not you know, just a tyrant trying to rule everything, and she's kind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just to connect with the people. And it's kind of funny that even if you think about the Odin parallel, you know, rounding these kids up and, you know, like roughing them up a little bit is what Odin would have done, you know, but Yamato's like, yo, chill, you don't gotta do all that, you know, they're just kids or whatever. So it's funny to see like a little bit of the difference already between you know, Odin and Yamato. A little thing is that it tells us that Denjiro is now the daimyo of Kibi, which is this little area in Wano. So he you know, leveling up. My boy's getting a government position. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, just a cover story as usual. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Nothing crazy. We're gonna see some more in the next couple cover stories, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Getting into the chapter, we start with a flashback. Actually, where did we leave off last chapter?
It was. Shoot, what was it?
Giant robot?
Yeah, because the robot was.
Oh, he came out the sky. He came out the sea and uppercutted dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we start this chapter in a flashback. 26 years ago at Punk Hazard, we get a younger Vegapunk talking to a younger Dr. Clover. Nice seeing him again. We see him pleading with Vegapunk that he needs to help them study the Void Century and uncover the truth. Vegapunk is basically saying that he can't because he's government now and this, that, and the third, giving a bunch of excuses and telling Clover that he shouldn't do it. Clover mentions that he once saw a man with the name of D killed before his eyes without warning, which turns out to be his older brother.
Yeah.
Which is how we find out that Clover's a D. Did we have that information already?
Not in the slightest, bro.
No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, we find out that Clover's a D. He had a brother that was also a D, which was killed. Wild stuff. And yeah, he basically continues to plead with Vegapunk to try and get him to uncover the truth of the world, but Vegapunk is just not interested. Yeah, pretty big reveal. Clover being a D, pretty big reveal.
Yeah. I think that there's a line in Vegapunk's speech in like the message, and he talks about how the part where the will of D like is cutting off and it's like, you know, like disconnecting and reconnecting, whatever. He talks about one line during that part is the people who have suffered for it, you have my greatest apology. And I assume he means some people that have the will of D that were persecuted for it. And now we get like another picture of this. Like some people, like there was a time not that long ago where people were literally getting killed just for having the D in their name, which is like insane.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew that was happening. I know Law's parents told him not to tell people that he's a part of the Will of D, which is interesting because it's probably been part of their history that like recent history that like they're getting killed, and we get to see part of it here. Just wild stuff, and now we know why Clover, you know, was put on the path of like starting the Ohara and stuff like that.
And with that information, right? It also kind of, I personally think it might tie back to what was it, like a couple of chapters ago, where it was revealed that that basically, because the ancient weapons are still at play, that the quote unquote war is not like quite over.
Yep.
Maybe that's what the war is against the will of D. That's that might be the continuous war that even the Gorosei and Imu are fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. If you remember the Sabo chapter and the Nefertari Cobra chapter, where Imu even says like the D is the name of our ancient enemy. So I completely agree with you that that's what's been going on. They've been trying to kill these D members, snuff them out. But yeah, man, you can't fight the inherited will, I guess.
Yeah.
Inherited will is too strong, man. Yeah, it was really nice seeing Clover from a new perspective. This is a character that we've seen maybe a decade ago. So to see him in a new light and still getting development is really cool. It adds further context and further emotions to his part from Water 7 Annie's lobby.
It's gonna hit different when you reread Robin's flashback.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah.
A great point from Husky that like things have changed. Like they let Monkey D. Garp in the Marines, you know, like people aren't getting absolutely outright murdered for being Will of D, it seems. Like but maybe it's a pick and choose thing, maybe it's some are threats, some aren't. So but yeah, I agree with that point, that it's interesting that like it seems like people aren't getting killed now. Because Clover is also mad old. He's like 82 in this, something like that. So
yeah, it might have been like at this point in this flashback. What was this flashback again?
26 years ago.
26 years ago. Okay, so maybe there was a little bit of like under the table discrimination to people with D in their name, and maybe like they quote unquote like the quote unquote good ones they let, because I mean it wasn't just Garp, it was also Jaguar D. So I don't. Yeah, but I don't remember if that was known or not, or that was like.
I think it was. I think
it was. Okay.
It was, yeah.
So maybe if you're with the government, you're like the quote unquote good one, but like, you know, anyone else though, they can pretty much get it, and maybe this point. At this point, he was not only fighting for the true history to be revealed, but he was also, low key fighting the discrimination that was happening too. So,
yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
sad.
Yeah, really, it is really, really sad. Especially like Callie said, the flashback, and then because this isn't even the first time we've gone to the O'Hara section in Egghead.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
With Dragon and Vegapunk. We're gonna see more too. So
yeah,
man,
a lot of parallels.
Really deep character and sad character.
Yeah, definitely dope. We move on to another flashback, 22 years in the past. So this is 4 years after the first flashback. This is around the time that O'Hara received a Buster call. Or this is prior to O'Hara receiving the Buster call. This is when the news was coming that they were about to receive it. So it must have happened a little ways after this flashback. We get Caesar letting Vegapunk know that they finally caught Clover and that nobody will dare study the Void Century again. Little did he know. We get a cool panel here with Vegapunk seeing that Nico Robin escaped. Okay, now I'm confused because the beginning of the chapter says that they're going to place a Buster call, so like it's going to happen in the future. But this last panel, huh?
Let me see what TCB said. TCB says O'Hara came face to face with the Buster call, and you're bringing up a great point about it has to be way after, right?
Right.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. I think the official just got the wording wrong on that first bubble about their going to.
because we see the panel of him holding Robin's poster afterwards. It had to have happened after.
Yeah. True, but I will say though, like there is like that section, like where you see Vegapunk, it says "Please Vegapunk," where he thinks about Clover or whatever.
Yeah.
In the middle of the right page, that the next that those bars do like show that it's like a transition. So that might also just be later.
So it might be a time skip between right before it happened and right after it happened.
Yeah.
Because then there's another 2 lines and we see him moving. We see him at O'Hara. Underneath the sea of books that O'Hara secretly protected.
Yep.
So
it's really up in the air who got it right, who got it wrong. We don't speak Japanese. We'll never know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, this is very interesting that I didn't know that Vegapunk was not originally on board with finding out the history. He made it the way the story came together. It seemed like he was always down with it, and it's just like he was salty that Clover was killed, and so he was going to continue it for him. But here, it's showing like he was not for it. And in fact, he said he was also very dismissive of it. And so it wasn't even just necessarily out of safety. He didn't care. He thought like, oh, what is history going to do to, help with like science today or, progression to get today. So like, he's like, just leave it. And I thought that was very interesting because I didn't peg Vegapunk at that time as someone like that because he didn't come off to me as like a quote unquote like a stereotypical type of science-y type dude where it's like nothing else matters but the discovery of new scientific adventures. Mm-hmm. I thought he was like the overall, you know what I mean? Like overall, I want to know everything type guy. So I didn't know he didn't care about history to such a degree, and it took someone like Clover or anybody else to let him know, like, nah, fam, history's very, very important, and it took Clover's death to get him to that point. So that's a very interesting angle to look at Vegapunk now, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think Vegapunk has been an interesting character so far. Like, there's been a lot of like subtle moments, like, where I've been interested in how he thinks, and we've talked about how like from a lot of perspective, Vegapunk is probably not a great guy, right? Like with the making all the weapons and stuff like that, and obviously the parallels with military contractors in our life, right? There's a lot of ways to think about it, but yeah, like to see him straight up just say like, bro, like your life is more important than like whatever happened in the past. You're not even gonna get a good look at it from stone slabs, like whatever, man. Like don't worry about it, right? And go about your life, But I think it's so like powerful to see like this panel of Vegapunk, literally crying over it. And also like he literally had the chance, right, to maybe give them a chance to make it more secretive, like help their research, let Ohara see the truth that they wanted to see, before it all, like came coming down around them. I really think this is a very powerful few pages, and I think it makes I think it completes, maybe not completes, but I think there's a little more for Vegapunk for sure, but this is one of the key things to make Vegapunk, in my opinion, one of the like deepest side characters in One Piece, which I'm not surprised it's Vegapunk. So
yeah, which makes sense. It's the character that's been spoken about since like chapter 50, so
yeah,
definitely understandable. This flashback definitely adds some contextualization of Vegapunk's character.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely dope flashback. We go back to the future though, or the present rather, actually. And the announcement is still going. Vegapunk continues his speech. He says, "Someone once said that the voices of the past will be heard. History is told by the winners, and the voices of the losers at the bottom of the sea are so very faint." Which is I don't know why I thought about Daffy's quote in Marineford when I read that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It was
literally
paralleled,
yeah. I mean, that's the truth. That's honestly even in real life. Like history is told by the winners most of the time. There is, funny enough, one incident that I remember reading about, and this was when history was at a point told by the losers. But it rarely does that happen. So it's just, I mean, it's absolutely true. 100%.
He continues, but the truth that was gleaned at the cost of so much sacrifice has at last been told to the world just now. We see a couple different reactions. We see Zeph, that boy Zeph, the chef. I don't know who that is in the middle panel. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's that place that Robin was teleported to from Bakuma. It's Tequila Wolf, that bridge being built by slaves.
I feel like that was my first guess, but I didn't want to just say that because it was snowing. Is it like?
No, it definitely is. I think like the whips, the things they're wearing or whatever. It definitely is, and it's pretty interesting because I think, well, I saw like even Library of Ohara tweeted that people thought that because the revolutionaries were there and found Robin, that they thought that like Tequila Wolf had been captured by the revolutionaries, and it had been, like they had stopped construction, but I don't think we ever got confirmation of that. So we get to see that like right now Tequila Wolf is still being constructed, which it's like a small, literally like a fucking inch of a panel, but it's still, Tequila Wolf is a very interesting place in One Piece. It's a bridge being built by, slaves at the behest of the celestial dragons.
Right.
So it's something to keep an eye on. It's very interesting.
Yeah. 100%. We finally get Robin. You see, and it makes sense on her face. Do you think that she knows the someone that Vegapunk's talking about during this part of the speech is Clover?
Probably, because I mean, the idea that history is told by the winners. He said someone once said that history is told by the winner. I think that Clover might have said that to Robin as well, so she knows that quote, and it makes sense too because you got Clover up, at the beginning, and then now obviously Robin, who obviously they were.
Yeah, and if we look at the speech bubble that Robin that lands on Robin, it's at the cost of so much sacrifice, which is mentioning the Ohara incident. So if she's connecting the dots, then it would make sense why her face is like that right now.
Yeah. Also, like now that you say that could also be her direct to the sacrifice part, that she's just thinking that that was our sacrifice. But I wouldn't be surprised if she thought that someone told him the voice of the past, and she knows that he knows Clover, right? From like he literally told her that in the beginning of the arc through Shaka. So yeah, man, that's a telling panel right there.
Robin the goat, man. I need Robin to get a big W soon, man.
Facts.
He was a big dub. All right, in between the message, we're back to the action. We have the Straw Hat crew that is at the top of the Labosphere trying to figure out how they are going to coup de burst off of the cloud and back into the sea. Unfortunately, oh man, don't tell me. You
got it, boss.
Venus.
You got it, boss.
Yes.
I'm him. Unfortunately, Venus is in their way. They cannot just shoot straight off of the cloud, because if Venus knocks off their trajectory even slightly, they will not have enough force to make it off, and they will crash to the ground, according to Lilith. And as Lilith is explaining why they cannot just run headfirst into the Gorosei member standing in front of them, Atlas comes and just punches her right in the face. Like,
that shit was crazy.
Duffs her shit. Like, she punches her so hard that the ground below her cracks. Like, she really did her in.
Yeah.
I feel like all that wasn't necessary, but
yeah, man, I was like, I reread that part like 3 times. I'm like, am I seeing this right? Like, did she just deck Lilith? Like, why?
When I first read the panel, I'm like, oh, she just smacked the shit out of Venus. Okay, cool. But then I looked, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, so she just completely duffs Lilith. The Strats run to try and figure out what's going on. But as they're doing that, Atlas hits a button in Lilith's head, or rotates her neck. I don't know. She does something, but there's a clicking noise that comes out of Lilith. And we find out that Lilith has been disconnected from the Vegapunk mainframe.
Yeah. That's probably what the hell she was doing.
Right,
yeah.
That's what she was doing, yeah. She then Atlas tells the Straw Hats to take care of Lilith, and that she will remove the obstacle herself. And then Atlas flies headfirst towards Venus. As she does that, Jinbe recognizes the situation, and before they can regret acting too slow, his words, they hit that coup de burst and go to fly straight off the cloud. As they're about to fly into Venus, Atlas headfirst tackles into Venus, loses an arm in the process, but manages to rocket boost, push Venus out of the way so they can coup de burst safely off of the cloud. Atlas is the absolute GOAT, the MVP of this chapter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolute legend, man. Absolute fucking legend.
I just want to say the art in the panel of the Sunny there, like the coup de burst part where Alice is, like charging away on the side, that art is fucking crazy. Like the burst, like the boost, like it looks like some crazy, like it looks insane.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but it does look really sick. You can see the movement in the panel.
Yes.
The movement in the panel. There's a lot of kinetic energy.
Yeah.
Really, really, really cool panel. Oh yeah, shout out to Alice. She got her arm cut off. I guess we're not done with her, but very cool.
More or less.
Yeah. But I'm kind of, I still wonder if I hope we get to see that Edison is either finished or not finished, because he's not connected to the mainframe either. But now we know that you don't have to die to be disconnected. So I'm interested in.
Yeah. Remember we were wondering about that when Edison was did that.
Yeah, that was even more ambiguous. So we'll see. I assume he's probably done though. Rest in peace. But yeah, Alice just makes the executive decision that Lilith is gonna keep on going. And I think this kind of shows to us that obviously it's not done yet, but because Alice still has to go hard later in the chapter. But Lilith is the one that's gonna make it off, which I think we've been called in the whole arc, right?
Yeah. I think it was like clear like that Lilith was definitely going to make it off with the Straw Hats. I thought it was going to be like Lilith. I thought the Stella unit.
The Stella unit was a big one early in the chapter.
Yeah.
When we first got introduced to him, that was the big theory that he was going to go off with the Straw Hats.
Yeah. And at first, funny enough, I thought I did think Edison was going to make it, but I guess not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. It's crazy that we only got like one, or well, I mean, I'm not counting York. She's a traitor, but it's crazy we got one Vegapunk clone, getting off this island. At first, I didn't know if any were necessarily outside of, like, I thought like, oh yeah, the Stellar Unit, he off, why not? He's like the main character of the Vegapunks and stuff like that. They need him, but damn, it's kind of crazy, like how this
yeah, they
directions her.
They definitely started dropping like flies. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about York. I mean, we can talk about it more at the end of the chapter.
Oh yeah, do y'all? Oh yeah.
This chapter made me fucking hate her so much. But...
Yeah, let's keep it going. There's definitely a lot to go through.
Yeah.
Back on the sea level, ground level, whatever you want to call it, right outside the island, we see the aftermath of the giant robot punch. All the Marines reacting to the boars and snakes and lions and tigers and bears and robots. Whole bunch of stuff going on. It's definitely a scene at this level of the island here. We get Luffy and the robot finally meeting. We get a line from the giants. They ask, is that an iron giant? I don't know. I wanted to ask y'all about this. Is that like
a thing?
Yeah, like a specific reference to something that they might know about, or are they just describing what they're seeing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just saying like, oh, is that an iron giant, like a giant iron or a giant robot iron, whatever. It's not like I don't think it's a thing.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
We get the robot and Luffy finally interacting with each other. The robot, through what I'm gonna assume is the voice of all things, says, "Joy Boy, I'm so happy I get to see you again." And it's kind of confirmed that it's probably the voice of all things, because Luffy hears the thing and then turns around like, who's talking to me right now? And the robot says, "I'm talking to you." Pretty funny panel there.
I about to say, I thought he did that because he didn't know who, up to this point, who Joy Boy was. Because remember,
okay, that's also fair. I might have missed. Yeah,
because I mean, I guess technically Bonnie never referred to him as Joy Boy either, but it's like she called him Nika. Several the Giants called him Nika. He's like, "Who's that?" Like, I don't know. And I guess this is the very first time he's being referred to as Joy Boy, so he's looking like, is this nigga talking to me? Like, what the fuck? Like he just.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That's what I interpreted that as.
That's fair.
I completely agree. I like how cartoony Luffy's drawn in these pages too.
Yeah, I love it. I was about to say, like, I love it. It's so like innocent, but it's also so One Piece. Yeah. It's so One Piece.
Oda can definitely do the comedy when he wants to. He knows what he's doing. When he wants
that guy is, bro. Niggas don't realize, like, niggas kind of take for granted how artistically talented Oda is. It's actually fucking crazy.
Yeah, Oda's insane. We get the message continuing. The message continued on the Coupe de Burst. Vegapunk continues and says, "I can only pray that this message has made it safely out to the world at large. It would be foolish to hear about a war 900 years in the past from only one side." We then go back. We see the robot stepping in front of Luffy and his crew, telling them to go ahead. He says Luffy's enemy is his enemy, and that he's happy that he gets to fight for him again. We see, he just goes on to say Joy Boy's in danger, you must protect him, just giving off real guardian deity vibes with the things that he's saying. The Gorosei recognize the need to completely destroy the robot in order to stop the message. We see the Giants getting ready to sail off and get out of there. And this is when Luffy mentions what the robot has been saying. about how he wants to protect Joy Boy. Then the Giants mentioned that they didn't hear a word that the robot said, which again would allude to the voice of all things, I would assume.
Yeah, that's definitely the confirmation.
Yeah.
And I will say this is one thing Mysta said, that he talks about how the robot is speaking with Luffy in the voice of all things. And he brings up a great point that made me remember something that I really wanted to talk about. He says that he loves that Luffy still hasn't made the connection that he's Joy Boy, because everyone calls him Nika. Joy Boy's like, "Who the hell's that?" Right? He hasn't really thought that, like, man, people keep mistaking me for someone. I wonder who these people are or whatever. But it makes me think about a comment I saw. Man, I gotta start writing these people's names down. It was like a random Reddit comment, and it was about how the fact of like Luffy's ambition of being the freest person alive is soon going to be at odds with being this destined person to do this thing. Like that history of falling on his shoulders to, and having to be this person that has to, do this the certain way or whatever, that's gonna like be at odds with his I don't want anyone to dictate what I do. I thought that was a really interesting point about, and we might see I could see it being a big thing, but I could also being something like Luffy being like, nah, fuck that shit, I'll do whatever I want my way, and it's gonna work out no matter what. But I just thought I thought that was a cool point about how Luffy could have a problem with being the child of destiny or whatever.
I definitely feel like while I do agree with that point, I agree with the second half of the thing that you said, in which all the times that Luffy has been rebellious or hard-headed, stubborn, wanted to do things his own way, his way ends up positive in like 99% of the cases. And all these places he's been, all the things that he's done, it ends up helping people, freeing countries, saving people. So I do think that he may end up doing things his own way as opposed to whatever destiny is laid out for him. I think the end goal still ends up being the same, just because he's just genuinely a good person.
Yeah, and I think paradoxically that's what makes him the best fit to be Joy Boy. So I completely agree.
Plus, on top of that, we still don't know, right? Because especially it keeps getting hammered to us that that Vegapunk's viewpoint, and honestly, even all of our viewpoints of the Void Century and the Great Battle, pretty one-sided storytelling. So so once we find out the full history, it could flip our whole perception. And if it's something crazy that Luffy's supposed to do, he could like reject it altogether because of who he is too. So
I'm excited to see Luffy hear all the story, if he even ever does.
True. You're right. You're right.
That's a 50-50 in and of itself, if he'll even pay attention or whatever. All right. Good point to Mysta. Shout out to Mysta. Nice point you brought up. We continue the Vegapunk speech as the giant ship is getting fired upon by the Marines. Vegapunk says history requires a multifaceted approach to understand entirely. If only I had more time on my side. Alas, there are forces outside my ability to stop. I really, throughout this entire message, I really feel like there have been a lot of subliminal hints in the panels that some of these messages land on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like forces unable to stop, outside my ability to stop, and then we see one of the giant Gors stay raging at the giant robot. That's not as subtle, you know what I'm saying? But panels like this that make it obvious make me go back to some of the other panels throughout this speech that the speech is landed on, and maybe think twice and look at. I'm still on that dude in the chest, but I'm not going to hammer that one down too much.
Gaimon like a time or two ago.
Gaimon comes up as one of the most important characters in the series. I got the fattest, I told you so. I'm making a whole video on that, how I was right. On God, we got Sandworm. Don't tell me.
Nah, if you get this one, you're the man. It was hard. It was Jupiter.
No, I I was gonna say Jupiter. Cause Jupiter.
Yeah, check with Jupiter. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta have faith in yourself, man. You gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, we got Jupiter roaring down on the giant robot. The giant robot is pointing his fist at him, looking like he's about to do some type of attack. We see Franky and, funnily enough, Sanji hyped up that this robot's about to do some type of attack. And we don't normally see Sanji in that excited light like that over anything.
I think that's the first time, honestly.
Yeah, over anything.
Yeah.
So like, it's pretty cool to see him.
That was cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it leads up to nothing. The arm short circuits. We see a poof, white smoke come out. Nothing happens, and the robot ends up losing his arm and a giant portion of his body.
Yeah, cooked. Look at Sanji's eye in that bottom right, in that bottom panel. This nigga looks unhinged.
Yo, he looks crazy actually. Why does his eye look like that? Oh,
no,
yo, I didn't even notice that, dude.
Yeah, I saw like Magic Rope you tweet that shit. I was crying, bro.
Because he was salty.
Yeah, he had it ripped away from him, man.
That's crazy.
He's like, I was finally after a robot for the first time, and you do this to me. Yeah, that's fucking funny, man. I love that the robot is like, huh? It actually makes you think about the fact that something even Hussy said in the chat earlier about how this chapter gives the robot a lot of personality. And we talked about a few chapters ago, the first time the robot speaks about how when he's falling into the ocean, he's like, oh, how strange. How very strange. I thought Joy Boy was here. Wasn't he here? Weren't you here, Joy Boy? And we talked about how there were some people saying that in the Japanese, he seems a bit childish. And I think now we get more of that, how he seems like a simplistic dude. Very like, you know, Joy Boy's in danger. I have to protect him. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. You know, like he seems kind of like childish, kind of like, you know, simplistic. And him like just being like, huh? Like, and I like TCB way better. He says, uh-oh. He's a bit of a clown.
Yeah, I definitely see those characteristics emphasized a lot more in this chapter for sure.
Yeah.
We see, he loses his arm, part of his body. One of the Gorosei remarks that is, I don't know if that's the Gorosei that says that. Someone says that's a 900-year-old weapon. Of course, it doesn't work anymore.
The TCB made it obvious that it was a Gorosei. They had like the different font that they use.
Right.
But someone saying a 900-year-old weapon, how do you know? I think it has to be the Gorosei.
Yeah, it has to be, right? Because the only other person it could be is whoever's screaming "No robot," which is Luffy or Sanji, one of the people, or Luffy or Franky.
It could have been Franky or Sanji because they know that it's from the Void Century because of the talk from Shaka in the beginning of the arc. Actually,
true.
Oh, so you know what? It might be Franky. Franky's at the bottom of the panel too.
Yeah. You know what? It's probably Franky.
That actually makes sense. Yeah. And Franky being the tech guy, he might be able to deduce that a little bit easier as well.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. So robot's in a bad shape. Jupiter is ordered to go in for the kill shot. As he's doing that, we get it's Mars, right? I know Mars.
Brother,
no. No. I said that shit so confidently.
Yeah, that's why I hate to do this to you, but it's Saturn.
Saturn. Yeah.
How do I fuck up Saturn? I know Saturn.
Yeah,
that's gang. It's not gang, but
it's not gang. But we knew him the most.
We knew it for a minute. Oh, I'm slacking, bro. I'm not saying names no more. I'm gonna try again next week. No more names for me tonight, bro.
My boy Husky keeping your score in chat. That's crazy.
Oh,
I don't know why.
That's crazy. No.
That's crazy, bro.
I'm getting cooked, man.
Oh shit.
That's tough, gang. Okay, yeah. So, I was about to say Mars again. Holy shit. Saturn jumps off of Jupiter, whatever, and lands on the giant ship to stop them from going anywhere. He locks in on Kuma and Bonnie, interestingly enough. And as he's doing that, Sanji looks up and he sees the Thousand Sunny flying off the clouds and getting ready to drop down into the sea. Zoro and the crew are questioning if they're gonna make it, and as they're doing that, we see Atlas still scrapping with oh my god, No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yo, I'm fucking.
I couldn't let you go back on that.
Yo, I appreciate you, bro. Because I definitely was the second guess. I'm second guessing all of them now, bro. Fuck. We get Venus still fighting with Atlas. He asks Atlas if she would sacrifice herself, and she just drops one of the most badass lines of the arc. She says, "Nope, extra service on the house," and blows up the entirety of the area around her, including Venus.
And what I didn't realize on my first read is that was the extra push they needed to make sure they made it to the sea. The force of the explosion actually moves them too.
Oh, nah, that added a layer. I'm not gonna lie, that added a layer. I did not realize that because they're questioning prior to whether they're even gonna make it. But yeah,
the next time they're like,
sense.
"Oh, we're gonna."
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
it's so sad.
Atlas is the fucking MVP,
What
bro.
a goat. What an actual.
That might be my favorite Vegapunk death.
Now, yeah. With that, easy, the best one. It's just it's so
man.
grand.
Yeah, it's peak. Big shit out to Atlas, holding it down. Yeah, as like Why has said in the next panel, they say that's it. We're going to make it. That force from the blast helps them. Helps with the trajectory. We get a sad panel of Chopper and Usopp crying, seeing the explosion, recognizing that Atlas is gone, saying it can't end like this. And then it's crazy. We see the exact opposite the very next panel with York celebrating and joy that Atlas is gone. She says that she is the only Vegapunk left.
He thinks Lilith is dead too.
Yeah, but Venus corrects her immediately. Well, I don't know if he's talking to her in this panel.
He corrects her, but not about Lilith. It's about because Saturn goes on to say, "Not while Stella continues to Babylon." So they're talking about the fact that.
So they really don't know about Lilith.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, Lilith is in the clear right now. This panel here with Venus, we see his head like kind of regenerating.
Yeah.
I guess we've already seen Saturn regenerate, so I guess it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, but it's not. It kind of confirms that they all have it, I guess.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
Yeah. So now we get all of the Gorosei making their way to the Iron Giant to stop the message once and for all. And this is when we get the last words from the chapter from the Iron Giant. He says, he says, "Whoa, I'm all rusty. Joy Boy, you said when the time is right. I think this counts. I'm gonna use it, okay?" As he says that, Vegapunk continues his message. He says, 25 years ago, the pirate Gold D. Roger completed an unprecedented tour of the entire world, and what he and his crew heard were likely the purest voices of the past. In conclusion, as I'm sure you all surmised by now, my view of our future is thus. And in the last panel, we get some prisoners saying, "What does he mean, Gold D?"
Crazy. Like
the craziest reveal of the entire chapter.
Yeah, the fact that these people, because it talks about how important the D initial is, and then now the whole world knows that it's not Gold Roger, it's Gold D.
I ain't gonna lie. Okay, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was gonna step on you, but I don't want to do that. But I want to let you finish your point.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that you let me finish.
Yeah,
it means a lot to me, man. But it's just it's going to show that the world government is not to be trusted on the information that they give you about people, and now you can cook me it.
No, I was saying it. I do think that it is dope info. It's crazy. I don't even want to use crazy. It is interesting to see that the world will now know that Gold Roger was a D. I do think it's funny that being a reveal with us already having had known that from chapter one, not chapter one, but very early in the story, you know what I mean? So I just think it's funny to see, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was revealed at the Paramount War during Whitebeard's flashback that Gold Roger's name fully is Gold D. Roger, not Gold Roger.
It was
So
I thought it was earlier than that.
no, I think it was that. That's
Okay.
when it, because he was like, Whitebeard was like, "Wait, ain't your name Gold Roger?" And he's like, "That's not your name." He was like, "No, my name is Gold D Roger."
Okay,
And he was like,
I was curious, so I checked, and because I remember when Kureha and Drum Island looks at Luffy's bounty poster and says the will of D lives on, she tells Dalton, "Have you heard of Gold D Roger?" And Dalton's like, "I thought it was Gold Roger."
Gold Roger.
"Oh,
She's
it
like,
was
oh, that's what they're
Dalton."
calling them these days.
Yeah.
I remember
Okay.
that exact
Yeah.
scene.
So even so, what this is like in the chapter 100 or something, chapter
Yeah.
130, 40, 50 or whatever, and now we're on what 1120, 900 chapters later. Now the world knows it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely dope stuff.
Fucking 900 chapters, holy shit, man.
What's interesting? Didn't Kureha meet Gold Roger?
Dude, I don't know if we know that, boss.
We don't? Okay, so it's interesting that she knew
the will of D. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy that she knew it, and not even just that she knew Gold Roger's full name then, right? Because unless it was like, because I don't know what his first ever wanted poster was.
That's what I was gonna say,
but I don't. I'm assuming that it was always Gold Roger.
But he was a pirate for a minute before he became king of the pirates. I wish I could remember the flashback, see when they want, if they talk about trying to get rid of the D in his name. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like, because they have bounty posters like Marshall D. Teach, Luffy's. I assume they've been keeping them in for people that don't really matter. And only when Luffy became Nika did they want to get rid of the D in his name. So I'm assuming that it was D in the beginning, but people just forgot maybe.
It probably was. But then what?
A long time ago.
But then I guess I gotta wonder, like, what made them change Gold Roger's name from what certain point? If they allowed his name to be in the Wonder poster at a certain point, and then they just changed it, what was the event that changed it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm assuming it's becoming the king of the pirates. But
that's fair. That's definitely fair.
That's possible. Yeah, because I mean, you gotta admit that would be his most famous.
That's him becoming Nika, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But yeah, it's gonna be. I think this is gonna be an important reveal for what he's about to say, because like I've been bringing up about how I think we assumed that the point of the broadcast was going to have the world kind of turn against the world government in a sense, or not trust them as much.
Right.
But this whole time they've had nothing about the world government, only that. Actually, I don't think there's been a single thing about them. So I think this is where he's gonna be like, okay, they lied to you about Gold Roger's name. I don't know if he's gonna make a point to say that, but he already revealed it, right? And I think he's gonna, because here he says, "My view of our future is thus," and I think that's like him being like, now I'm about to say my ending conclusion point.
Right.
So I think the last thing he has to do is something to, like, because the only people that are getting flack are Joy Boy and Roger. So I think he's going to go in on them in some sense. Maybe, and I don't know if it's going to be directly. I saw a Library of Horror talk about how he might talk about how, because the point he's bringing up before this is that the crew of Roger must have heard the history of the world
of the past or whatever.
Boom.
Yeah.
So he might go on to say that it seems like if you want to know more and understand the truth of the world and know more about this war, you have to make the Laugh Tale and the Last Island, which will ignite more piracy and basically like fan the flames of the Great Pirate Era even more. Like, and Mysta always brought up in this arc how, you know, Roger started the Great Pirate War, and then Whitebeard had the One Piece's real reach, and then Vegapunk will be that third great figure to be like, yeah, you guys have to go out and get it. And I think he's about to do it next chapter.
That's
definitely
interesting.
Whenever it happens.
Yeah, he's the next great figure to ignite people. Like, I mean, every point or part, I want to say, of One Piece, we had that one figure. The beginning, it was Gold Roger, and all the way up to Whitebeard. The end of part 1, I will say, he became that figure leading part 2, and now we're at part 3, and that will probably be Vegapunk to lastly ignite everybody, or ignite
a new age, quote unquote.
Yeah.
My question will be if he can get the entirety of that the entirety of this final part of his message out, because this robot is in very bad shape, and based off of his last sentence, whatever he's about to do is probably going to be his last move.
Yeah.
So if the robot's good, then the message is finished as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think Oda would set up the robot like this just to get demolished, like, completely. At least not without this final message, because we already knew, right? I think either I called it or someone else called it, that the whole message was not going to be relayed, right? Like, something was going to get cut off, and maybe it might come back or it might not, which it did come back.
Right.
But the part that was cut off, that was the most important part, is the Will of D. Oda is holding that to his chest until probably the end of the one, the end when we get to Lockdown. He's probably holding that to his chest. But everything else, it would be crazy if they just cut off this part too. Like, I think this is going to finish. The robot is going to find some way to hold off until that time, and then he'll lose. But
yeah, like I said, I think Vegapunk, I always think about that York, like a few lines ago, where York, when the chapter where she finds that the snail is in the giant robot, she talks about how Vegapunk's actions have not made sense throughout the arc, and that he acted like he didn't know the world government's plans, but he had to have, basically. So I think he's hiding something, and I think there's like a big fuck you to the Gorosei and the world government incoming, and I think Oda will give Vegapunk, for lack of a better term, I'm going to use respect, like the respect that he kind of deserves, to give him the floor, and let him finish his damning speech to the world government. That's just how I view it. And I hope I would hate to see another, like, oh, we actually we actually destroyed the transceiver, like right in time, just in time. It's like, fuck that shit. We already saw that happen. Let Vegapunk cook these niggas, please.
That's fair. That's definitely fair.
How I feel.
Yeah.
What are we thinking about this robot's final hurrah? I feel like explosion is the obvious answer, so I don't want to hear explosion.
It's always the classic, going back to, like, mecha anime, mecha fights, Dragon Ball.
Atlas
like,
did it 2 panels ago.
Atlas just did it.
Yeah. I wonder. Honestly, like, other than that, like, we don't really have anything to go off of. Like, he's gonna shoot a Kamehameha, like, you know what I mean?
It's really explosion, isn't it? That's tough, man.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, honestly.
That's tough, man.
And I don't know. Blame my lack of creativity on Dragon Ball, because they set the bar. Like, just a final explosion everywhere for any robot-like figure.
I think something to think about is how he was the only person to have hurt, the top man Mercury, who even Luffy couldn't hurt. So I think there's like some secrets that they have to fight these niggas. So he might have like a weapon or something, or like some sort of ability, maybe like some hockey-esque ability that he has in up his sleeve. So I think there's like a little bit of, like, just based on that, the fact that he actually hurt him. So, but yeah, we really don't have much to go off of, honestly.
So you think it could be potentially like some type of new version of hockey that we never seen?
Yeah, like some lost ability. Like, if it's not an explosion, I don't think it's gonna be like
explosion.
We just saw fucking Atlas do that shit. But it might. I think his words also kind of indicate that it's something that's kind of like might hurt him as well, just because it's like only use it when the time is right.
Right.
According to Boy. So yeah, I mean, it might be something similar, right? But yeah, I don't really have much to guess for that.
But what if it's like a hockey explosion?
Yeah, like, and honestly, not like, that's not even a bad guess. Like some sort of wave hockey that can hurt these guys or like disorient them, or because there's still a lot to learn about the power system and like why, like even this chapter we learn about why the devil fruits are hated by Mother Sea or whatever, and it's like, what does that even mean? Like what power compels them to be like anchors? You know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe we get more of that here. And like I said, I think another big thing that I hope comes from the robot is how to even hurt these guys. So I'm hoping whatever he does leads to some sort of understanding or like leads to the Strawhats to ask questions on like how could he do that? You know what I mean? Or even Lilith.
Yeah.
Right. He meant like after this arc, Lilith might think about it and then give them an answer or whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Do something like that.
Yeah, I can see that. It's fun. It's kind of funny, like a full circle, right? Like Joy Boy in the past told the robot about whatever he's about to do. The time is right, and now what he's about to do is going to help Joy Boy, aka Luffy, harm them in the future. So
yeah, exactly. But I think that's honestly about it for the end of the chapter. There's a few things Mysta had said about earlier. He talked about Clover's, obviously they revealed the part of the Will of D. I have to clown TCB a little bit because they said his name was Clown, like Claiomhs. What? If you remember in TCB, because in this, if you go to the beginning of the chapter, they call him Clou, like Clou. Is his first name or his last name actually, but TCB had it as Clown, like Claiomh, which and apparently Clown Soleus is like it's like I don't know if it's part of a religious thing or like a story, but it's like the sword of light. But every other translation has it as Clou, like Clou or Klau, like Klaus, like, and the play on words is cloudy. Like cloudy sky. So I have to clown TCB a little bit because that was a stretch, with all due respect. But anyway, I got sidetracked from my point. Mysta says that it makes sense that Clover was vital for history and altered it. He also brings up the Straw Hats acting quickly after Atlas made her decision was cool to see. like Jinbe and Nami kind of bring them together to be like, yo, well, I know we're stunned right now, but we gotta capitalize. Right. Yeah, cool. Like Straw Hat working together moment.
Dope. Yeah, big shout outs to Mr. G.
Go.
The W points.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's about it, right? We went through just about everything. There's a lot of stuff in chapter. I think we're not on break next week.
I think we got another chapter for sure next week. I think we might get another one.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, this is around the time of the summer where we normally get a decent amount though, so that's good.
Yeah,
this is nice.
Yeah.
Much love to everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 chapters in a row. Damn, that's crazy.
That is crazy. We got 3 chapters in a row before the last break too.
Yeah. Oh, we're about to pay for it after though.
Yeah, we are. One come like August, September, we're definitely going to start getting cooked. I ain't gonna lie. It'd be like that though.
Sure.
Big shout outs to everybody that hung out with us in chat today, in the Twitch chat, in the YouTube chat. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you're not watching these episodes live, what are you doing? You're slacking. Get over here. Sundays at 12 p.m. at YouTube on YouTube at Strawhat Sitdown or twitch.tv/Cali_Matt. Come hang out with us, chat with us. We're here to talk to you guys. We'll read your comments on screen. If they're bad, we might laugh at them, but that's okay. It'd be like that sometimes.
Or they might laugh at us, honestly.
Oh, very true. Big shout outs to everybody listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Podbean, etc. We appreciate you guys as well. If you're not following us on socials, you need to be following us on socials. We are on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Strawhat Sitdown. You look for us, you will find us. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no break next week, so we'll be back next Sunday with another chapter review. That's gonna be about it for us, though. Until next time, you guys enjoy your Sunday. Take it easy, be safe, be healthy. We appreciate you guys, and we will see y'all when we see y'all.
Peace.
Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that one piece? We are. Strawhat Sitdown crew in the building. We Corona to these other podcasts. We gon' put these people in their feelings when they hear this, and they know that they can't top this. We spit facts and we poppin'. Every time an episode is dropping, we see D3 in the corner. Mysta, that's a real G with the green screen in the background. Got him looking like he in a real scene. We got Big Mod in the cut. Always ready with rebuttals, but he bring the knowledge when we in the huddle, so you know the crew is never gonna fumble. And it's why us, last but not least. If you ask me, then Cali, mad the captain, make him rally around me. Every Sunday we gon' run deep, and we can't stop until we find out about that. One Piece. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that One Piece? We are. Who gon' get down? We are. This that Strawhat Sitdown. We are. Who the crew with the fleet? We are. Who gon' piece that